Hi everybody, it's Dr. David Moffet here in Burrowang on Tuesday night, and I'm talking with Dr. Derek Mahony in Sydney about the dental fire aid extravaganza that we're putting on in Merimbula in March. Exciting conference that we're putting on to give money and help and financial assistance to the community of Merimbula, people of the South Coast who have been affected by these catastrophic bushfires, and it's on in March 20 and 21. We've got a little bit of something doing on the Thursday afternoon, the 19th, and also on the Sunday, the 22nd as well. Derek Mahony, thank you for allowing me to interview you. Derek, what will you be talking about at the Dental Fire Aid event?
Hi, David. Look, one of the topics that I think every general dentist needs to learn more about from a clinical perspective is how to help manage patients who have sleep problems, and specifically children that snore at night. You've seen a lot of talk from people like David McIntosh about how important it is to pick up kids' sleep apnea, because it actually affects their IQ, their cognitive performance, how well they'll do at school. And really, dentists are at the forefront of this because we spend more time with the patient than their average general practitioner, and we look in their mouth. And most of the telltale signs of pediatric sleep apnea you can pick up from looking inside a kid's oral cavity. So I want dentists who maybe don't understand the link between the oral manifestations of sleep apnea to maybe look more closely at the patients that they see. And if they can pick up just one kid per year that has this debilitating condition, help diagnose it and help co-treat it, how wonderful would that be?
Yeah, it's an amazing field, the child sleep apnea and just sleep apnea in general, Derek. How it's developed over the last 10 or 15 years. Originally I think orthodontics was, they just thought that people just had crooked teeth. That was it. But the physiological causes of it is quite dramatic, and little kids grind their teeth. That's not stress. Well, it is. It's a physiological stress. They don't have mental stress. They don't have wives. They don't have boss. They don't have home loans. What makes kids grind their teeth? Of course, it's physiological. So we need to pick that up and get these kids treated when they're young. Great topic. Derek, what made you speak at Fire Aid? What when I put out the call, why did you want to be one of our speakers?
Look, after watching everything unfold on national TV, and I travel a lot, every time I traveled, the first topic of conversation from anyone was, geez, how are those fires going? So it was just worldwide coverage. And I thought, I've donated obviously to the Rural Fire Service because I think they did a fantastic job, but that's probably not as personal as doing something myself, writing a check versus thing. And I think what you put together is fantastic. I was saying to Leah the other day, I very rarely have a weekend off, but the weekend we have off, we're going down to Orange just to, dine there, stay overnight, spend some money. Those people have been affected by the fires. And then I know in Merimbula, they really copped the brunt of it. And, Craig has been telling me a little bit about what happened there. But what a worthy thing. I mean, every general dentist has been seeing what's going on, and maybe they've been in an area that hasn't been affected. Well, this is an opportunity to give back. I know that dentists in those areas have been doing it tough themselves because, a lot of these patients, haven't worked for a while and have lost their home. And, so it's very important that as a community we get together and help. And one way of doing that, every dentist needs CPD. Some dentists, do CPD just for the sake of getting the hours. Here's CPD that will actually improve your practice. So it's a win-win for everyone. I mean, I'm hoping these dentists, will stay a while. Like, the oyster, what is it? The oyster walk sounds just worth a trip in itself, let alone the CPD.
Crawl, yeah.
The oyster crawl. Sorry, yeah.
That's going to be Sunday, but we've priced it well. It's $800 for a dentist to attend. For $1,600, they can bring their whole team. Wow. They might have 2, they might have 20. They can bring their whole team for $1,600. And that's amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's amazing value.
For people who can't get there and say, oh, you know, I've got something else on. Well, they can actually get a recording of the whole event as well. So there's no reason not for any dentist not to dip into their pocket and support the people of Merimbula. We've chosen the Bega Valley mayoral, you know, the council relief fund, because the money will get straight to the people who need it. It's not going to be stockpiled by one of these big charities that are feeding it back. These people will get it straight away, and they need it now because their economy is basically, as Craig said, you know, 4,000 or 5,000 people live there in Merimbula during the year. That grows to 40,000 over Christmas. Well, they didn't get that 40,000.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
So that's people who won't be spending money in the community because they haven't earned it. So we want to get that money back into the community. It's really, really important that we get this happening.
Great idea. Great idea.
And March is going to be exciting. Who on the roster, you know, you've seen we've got 16 speakers, Derek. Who on the roster are you looking forward to hearing speak?
Well, obviously, always Howard Ferran. You know, I've heard Howard speak maybe 100 times, and every time I walk away with a clinical pearl. I mean, Howard is Mr. Dentistry as far as I'm concerned. You know, what he's done with Dental Town and what he's done with same-day dental. And, you know, he's really one of the first dentists I knew that had his MBA and then made it practical for other dentists, you know, like, you know, just patient communication and how to run an efficient office. So, I mean, I love listening to Howard. He's a lovely guy. And as I said, every dentist who listens to Howard will come back and will practice something that he said and say, oh, my God, thanks so much for teaching me that. And that happens all the time with Howard. That's why he's so popular and such a world-renowned speaker. And then I know you've got Jason Pang on the program as well. You know, Jason's like Mr. Laser Dentistry, right? And he's got a master's in that topic, but he's very big on what's called photobiomodulation or low-level laser therapy. You know, we all have patients who have orofacial pain, maybe related to TMJ or not. Bruxing obviously causes sore jaw muscles, you know, and using these lasers that he's going to talk about is a real good adjunct to help relieve pain in these patients. So, and he's a very good speaker. He's well referenced, and so, you know, from what I've seen on the program clinically, I mean, you've got lots of great motivational speakers and practice management pearls, but from a clinical point of view, I think Jason Pang and Howard really might be.
Yeah, Howard was great when I approached him about being on the roster for speaking. And Jason Pang, well, you know, when I retired, I had to send my family and my friends to a dentist, and Jason was the one I chose. You know, my dad goes and advisor goes and sees him. I'm sending people to Jason all the time, you know, because he's young enough to outlive everybody. Yeah, that's very. But he's also very knowledgeable and had no choosing him. Derek, the fires, as you know, where I am, have been quite close, not as devastating on the south coast. Any stories that you've heard about people affected by the bushfires in the Southern Highlands and places?
Other than what's on national TV, from a personal point of view, you know, Leah's brother-in-law, Bernard Conlon, he's a economics professor at Sydney Uni, and he gave up or took leave from Sydney Uni and fought the fires non-stop, day in and day out for 2 months. You know, that's just incredible. And then I have one of my TCs, her whole family's down in Eden, and you know, they had one of them, the brother lost the home, and you know, I mean, obviously, I think everyone's had national footage to see the devastation, but it's not as poignant as when someone you personally know suffers that. So just terrible. And I just hope that from this people learn, and we put something together for the future. I mean, I was in the Navy, as you know, and the amount of money we spend on military, I'm just wondering whether some money should be going to a fourth defence force, which would be called the Fire Defence Force. You know, that if a quarter of what they spent on the military budget goes to preparing people for future fires, that would be a good thing.
Well, fires definitely are the enemy within, aren't they?
Yeah.
And certainly clearing away the fuel that builds up on the floor, the forest floor. That's really important. Derek, anything else about this event that's exciting you? As we're really only 5 or 6 weeks away from it. It's quite exciting. I think it's 5, 6. It's close.
Yeah. Now, look, I just think I'm going to do as much as I can on social media to let my colleagues know about it. And I'm hoping the window is enough time for them to actually take that weekend off and go down there, because I mean it's a beautiful part of the world. How good would it look for our community? I mean, dentists always get a bad rap on media, don't they? And everyone thinks we earn too much money and cause pain. And this is a good public relation exercise. I'm wondering whether you've got the ADA behind you to help you with this.
I've been talking to the ADA, but I'm also talking to general mainstream media next week as well. So this is a feel-good story for the dental profession to know that they've got a heart. They're not a bunch of heartless people hiding behind masks and counting all their money. Yeah,
exactly. So I think good on you for organising this. I think great for the community, great for the participants. They're getting great value. Good for the PR of dentists, or the dental profile in general. So I just couldn't see why any dentist wouldn't be down there, David. What can I say?
Well, that's part of our theme, and all the people who aren't actually dentists who hear about this, they need to go to their dentist and say, why aren't you going? That's
absolutely.
it. Why? Yeah, it's really important. We need to, in fact, Frankie J. Holden, who's going to be the MC at the dinner, he said, why don't we ask them, how dare you not go? Which is, just imagine Frankie doing that. But anyway, thank you very much for your time tonight. And I know you're off packing for a lecture in America. So safe travels, Derek, and we'll see you in Merimbula. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks, David. Speak to you then. Bye.